Ever notice how your thoughts feel like yours, but you never actually chose most of them? What if the mind you think is yours is actually shared with something infinitely larger? Today's lesson teaches that the thoughts we think are real aren't actually ours at all. Our genuine thoughts come from the same mind that created everything. This matters because most of the mental chatter that exhausts us daily isn't our authentic thinking, and recognizing this can bring profound peace. Think about Sarah for a moment. She sits at her desk, replaying yesterday's meeting for the 20th time, analyzing every word her boss said, constructing elaborate theories about what it all meant. Her mind generates scenario after scenario. Maybe she's getting fired, maybe promoted, maybe forgotten entirely. The mental machinery churns relentlessly, each thought spawning 3 more, like some exhausting multiplication of worry. We all know this feeling. The mind that won't stop, that comments on everything, that builds entire worlds out of a single glance or an ambiguous email. We're so used to this mental noise that we assume it's just how thinking works. We believe these thoughts are ours, that we're responsible for managing them, controlling them, making them better or different. But here's what we're missing. Most of what passes through our minds isn't thinking at all. It's static. Mental noise. Like a radio that's been tuned to interference your whole life, crackling thoughts, fragments of worry, scattered bits of commentary that never actually lead anywhere. Let's stay with Sarah. As she sits there, something shifts. She's been through this loop so many times that suddenly, she sees it from the outside. All these scenarios her mind is generating, none of them are actually about reality. They're not connected to anything real. They're just noise. This is the first recognition. The difference between mental noise and actual thinking. The static in our minds, the worry loops, the commentary track, the endless analysis, it all feels important because it's loud. But volume doesn't equal value. The ego mind specializes in generating urgent feeling thoughts that lead nowhere. We spend our days managing this static, trying to organize it, make sense of it, respond to it. We exhaust ourselves wrestling with thoughts that were never ours to begin with. They're like spam emails that somehow got past the filter. They look official, they demand attention, but they're not actually from anyone we know. Your mind is like that radio. Remember, most of us have been listening to static so long we've forgotten there are actual stations broadcasting. We've normalized the crackle and buzz, made peace with the interference. We think that's just what radios do. But there's a clear, powerful signal broadcasting on a frequency you've always had access to. It's been there all along, carrying thoughts of perfect clarity and peace. You just need to turn the dial. Back to Sarah. In that moment of recognition, when she sees the mental noise for what it is, something remarkable happens. Her mind goes quiet. Not forced quiet, not the exhausting effort of trying to stop thinking. Just quiet. And in that quiet, for the first time in hours, she can actually think clearly. This is the deeper intelligence beneath the chatter. It's not something you have to create or achieve or earn. It's already there. Has always been there. When you stop identifying with the random mental noise, you naturally tune into this clearer frequency. The thoughts that come from this deeper place feel different. They're not frantic or circular. They don't generate more problems to solve. Instead, They bring clarity, simplicity, obvious next steps. They feel like remembering something you already knew rather than figuring something out. Here's where it gets even more interesting. This deeper intelligence isn't just yours, it's shared. The clear signal you're tuning into is the same one available to everyone. We're all receivers for the same broadcast. This is why genuine insights often feel universal, why the clearest thoughts seem obvious once you have them, why real wisdom sounds familiar even the first time you hear it. These thoughts aren't being generated by your personal mind, they're being received by it. Sarah feels this shift viscerally. The thoughts that come now aren't about her boss or her job security. They're simpler, clearer. I'll find out when I find out. Right now, I have work to do. Not profound on the surface, but notice the complete absence of static. No spiraling, no scenarios, no exhausting mental gymnastics. Your mind, when it's functioning naturally, doesn't generate endless commentary. That's not thinking, that's interference. Real thinking is more like recognition. You recognize what's true, what's needed, what's next. It arrives whole, without effort. The relief of no longer having to manage every random thought that appears. Can you feel into that possibility? You're not responsible for the static. You don't have to organize it, respond to it, or make it go away. You just need to recognize it for what it is, not your thoughts. Most of our mental exhaustion comes from this misidentification. We think we're the DJ, frantically trying to make sense of the static, create a coherent show out of interference. But we're not the DJ. We're just tuning into the wrong frequency. When Sarah leaves her desk that day, she carries this recognition with her. The static returns, of course it does. But now she knows what it is. She doesn't have to engage with every crackle and buzz. She can notice the noise and gently turn the dial back to the clear station. This isn't about positive thinking or thought control. It's about recognition. The static isn't yours. The worry loops aren't yours. The commentary track that narrates your life with such authority, also not yours. They're just interference patterns, generated by a mind that's forgotten how to tune into its natural frequency. What would change if you could rest in the quiet confidence that clear thinking happens naturally? That you don't have to generate good thoughts or manage bad ones. That there's a deeper intelligence always available, always broadcasting, just waiting for you to tune in. This is the transformation available to us, from exhaustion to ease, from noise to clarity, from managing thoughts to receiving them. The mind you think is yours, the one that chatters and worries and won't shut up, that's just static on the radio. Your real thoughts come from somewhere much deeper, much quieter, much more connected. The practice is simple. Notice when you're listening to static. You'll know because it feels exhausting, circular, urgent but unclear. Then, just like Sarah, recognize it for what it is. Not your thoughts. Just noise. And in that recognition, the dial turns naturally. The clear signal emerges. And thinking becomes what it was always meant to be. Effortless, peaceful, clear. You don't have to figure this out. You don't have to master it. You just have to be willing to notice the difference between static and signal. between the thoughts that exhaust you and the thoughts that clarify, between the mind that isolates you in worry and the mind that connects you to everything. The radio is always on. The question is, which station are you tuned to? If you'd like more teachings and guided practices like this, you can like the video and subscribe. And now, we'll move into a short guided meditation. Let's find a comfortable position. Your body knows how to settle. Let it show you. Take a breath that feels good, not deep, not special. Just a breath that your body enjoys. Notice the thoughts moving through your awareness right now. No need to stop them or change them. Just notice. Some of these thoughts feel urgent. Some feel important. Some are planning tomorrow or reviewing yesterday. Let them all be here. Now notice something interesting. You're aware of these thoughts, which means you're not identical to them. You're the awareness in which they appear. Feel the space between you and the mental noise. Not pushing it away, just noticing the space that's already there. Like static on a radio. The static is loud. But it's not the radio itself. You are the radio. The thoughts are just signals passing through. Allow your attention to soften. Instead of focusing on the static, become aware of the quiet beneath it. It's always there. Always has been. This quiet isn't empty, it's full of a different kind of intelligence. A knowing that doesn't need words. A clarity that doesn't need to figure anything out. Rest here for a moment. No effort needed. The clear signal finds you when you stop chasing the static. Your real thoughts come from this quiet place. They arise naturally, without strain. They feel like recognition rather than reasoning. Let your breathing be easy. Let your mind rest in its natural state. Not managing thoughts, not creating thoughts. Just resting in the awareness that holds them all. When you're ready, take a gentle breath. Feel your body in this chair, in this room. Know that this quiet clarity is always available. Always broadcasting. You just need to remember to tune in. Open your eyes when it feels right. Carry this recognition with you. The static isn't yours. Your real thoughts come from someplace much quieter, much clearer. Thank you for practicing with us today. If you'd like, there's a link to a free digital copy of ACIM in the description. And if this video resonated with you, please comment. I am grateful. Thank you for spending this time together, exploring the difference between mental static and real thinking. As you go back to your day, be gentle with yourself when the noise returns. You don't have to manage it, just recognize it for what it is. Your real thoughts are always available in the quiet beneath. Until next time, trust the clarity that comes without effort.